Good afternoon to one and all present here. I welcome you all for the AICT-sponsored ATEL online faculty development program on artificial intelligence-enabled sensors and networks for 5G wireless communication, day 2, session 6. Today's resource person for this session is Dr. Nyansham Singh, University of Johannesburg, South Africa. The title for today's session is Artificial Intelligence Based Estimation and Prediction Method for 5G Wireless Communication. I request Professor G. Nilavati to introduce our chief guest of this session.
Thank you, ma'am. So, good afternoon to all. I'm G. Nilavati from the Department of ECE. I welcome you all for day 2, session 6 on AI-based estimation and prediction methods for 5G wireless communication by Dr. Nyansham Singh, University of Johannesburg, South Africa. I'm very much glad to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Nyansham Singh, from University of Johannesburg, South Africa. Dr. Nyansham Singh is a professor of Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering Science from University of Johannesburg, South Africa. Has received PhD degree in Electronics Engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Varanasi. In 2000, he was associated with Central Electronics Engineering Research Institute, Pilani, and Institute for Plasma Research, Gandhinagar, respectively, where he was research scientist. He had also worked as an assistant professor at Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, Nirmala University of Science and Technology, Ahmedabad. He was a visiting researcher at the Seoul National University, South Korea. Further, he served as assistant professor, associate professor, and professor in Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, JP University of Information Technology, Solan, India. At present, he is a professor with the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering Science, Faculty of Engineering, and the Built Environment, Kingsbase Campus, University of Johannesburg, South Africa. He is an co-author and author of more than 250 scientific papers in peer-reviewed journal and international conferences. His research and teaching interest includes RF and microwave engineering, millimeter terahertz wave antennas and its applications in communication and imaging, next generation communication systems for both 5G and 6G, fourth industrial revolutions, and optical communication. He has more than 20 years of teaching and research experience in the area of electromagnetic, microwave engineering, wireless communication, and nanophotonics. He has supervised 15 PhD theses and 30 master's dissertations. His teaching interest includes nanoelectronics and wireless communication. His research includes electromagnetic microwave engineering, wireless communication, and nanophotonics. With this short introduction, I welcome our chief guest, Dr. Nyansham Singh, to take over the session. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Good morning to everyone. Thank you so much for this invitation on these interesting lectures, FDP programs, and hope we should interact very significantly. So, okay, we'll come on this lecture.
Hello. Sir?
Yeah. Is it visible?
No, sir. Yes, now it's visible, sir.
Not visible.
Now it's visible, sir, but it's too blurred.
Yeah, okay, just. Now is it fine?
No, sir.
No, sir, still it's in same blurred image.
Okay.
I request the participants to stay back in the link. There is a technical issue inside of resource person. He will join back within 5 minutes. Thank you. Hello, sir.
Hello. Yeah, is it visible?
Sir, screen is visible, but we can't able to see the PPT. We are seeing your desktop screen only. We can able to see your desktop screen.
Okay.
Neat screen, neat screen is visible.
Now is it fine? Hello.
No, sir, it is
Sir,
not visible, sir.
Is still problem?
yes, sir. So, sir, you can click on the image, PPT, what you are showing there.
So you need, I mail you? Okay. Is it visible? Hello.
No, sir, it is not visible, sir.
Oh, sorry. Then just wait 2 minutes. I will connect another system.
Sir, you please share your PPT. We will share from here, sir, through the mail. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, you please share your PPT to me. I'm Ponnata. We'll share from here, sir, at least.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Am I
Yeah.
audible to you?
Yeah. Right now, yes, audible.
Yes, sir. You please share your PPT to me. We'll share from our side to the participants through Google Meet. You
Yeah.
share your
Just
PPT
I'm
to
mailing
me.
you.
Oh,
Then
okay, fine.
try to connect another system. Let me try.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, just a minute.
मैं गया भी नहीं आप क्या
वो खोलूंगा जीमेल जीमेल
मुझे नहीं पता क्या बोल रहा भाई कौन है आपका
Hello, sir. I received it. You please do stop presenting, sir, from your side. Then only I can able to present. Sir.
Hello. Hello.
Sir. Hello, sir.
I have mailed you slide, and just wait 2 minutes. I am connecting with another systems, right?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, in this.
Just 2 minutes.
Okay, sir. So in the system, you please do stop sharing.
Okay. इसमें स्लाइड कहाँ रखी है? इस जो स्लाइड डाउनलोड करने के लिए बोले थे.
Sir, is the slide visible to you, sir?
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now is it fine? Hello.
Sir, slide is visible to all, sir.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now
okay,
it is fine. Then I will start.
Yeah, sir, you can start, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Sorry for inconvenience.
No problem, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's okay, sir.
Okay. So, dear colleagues and guests, in this Atal Faculty Development Program that is based on artificial intelligence enabled sensors, networks for 5G wireless communications as organized by Mahendra Engineering College. So on this one, this FDP, Faculty Development Programs, I would like to discuss with you all about 5G and what is the role of artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning in 5G. So first we have to know what exactly 5G and why is it required. Already we have 3G, 4G, then why 5G? And even now researchers are working over 6G. So why we are interested higher generation communication systems? So this means behind this revolution, what are the drivers? So we should discuss in this context. And you know, I am from this University of Johannesburg. This one is the one campus of photograph, that is Auckland Park, Kingsway campus. Similarly, actually, this University of Johannesburg, it has 4 campuses. This one is one campus and 7 faculties, one school that's Johannesburg Business School, and faculty, 7 faculty: Faculty of Science, Faculty of Arts, Humanities, uh, and Health Science. And this one, I am with Faculty of Engineering and Built Environments. This Faculty of Engineering and Built Environments, it has 5 schools and 12 departments. So it's this University of Johannesburg. It's a global QS ranking 434, and in South Africa, this one is the 3rd best university after University of Cape Town, Witwatersrand, and then this University of Johannesburg. So this brief about this University of Johannesburg, and now come on the exact discussion. Our communication systems, communication, that's transmission and reception of the information from person as well as devices. So this communication, it start long back. Since 1980, this communication has been established. Even this wireless, so 1G, advanced mobile phone services, as well as total access communications. This is 1G, it was fully analog communication. Then after this analog communication, another one, 2G, 1980, 1990, this 2G, that's digital communication, it come in the picture. It also known as IS-95, and then again it developed 2004, even 2000 in this range. This 3G, that's CDMA, code division, multiple access. Even you can this way, frequency division, then time division, then code division, and then 4th generation, it comes in picture 2010. That was long-term evolution, LTE advanced. All these are in our 4G, and even it was based on OFDM, orthogonal frequency division, multiple access. So all these 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, all these techniques, mostly it's OMA, orthogonal multiple access techniques. Then even 5G, exactly what 5G? In this one, many more techniques has been involved, then it creates 5G. Major challenges of the 4G, and then how these challenges of 4G has been rectified in this 5G. So 5G communication systems, generally this one is in 2 parts. We divide in 2 parts. One is when we will operate this communication system up to 6 gigahertz, and another one when we should operate it one this above 6 gigahertz to 100 gigahertz. This means in millimeter wave range, right? So this one in millimeter wave range, that is 5G new radio. Then this means 5G sub 6 gigahertz and 5G above sub 6 gigahertz, that is 5G new radio, and the name it's IMT 2020. It's also known. Then in this one, 3GPP release. Actually, this one is a standard. Talk about standards. So 3GPP is driving many essential inventions across all aspects of 5G design, from the air interface to the service layer. So this main feature of this 5G, this one is massive machine type communication, MMTC. Then enhanced mobile broadband, EMBB. And third one is ultra reliable low latency communication, URLLC. So these three are important feature of your 5G. And even this 5G is fully explored in this our release 16. And even its standards, policies, it's also is on moving, that is release 17 and release 18. So this evolution of your communication generations. So this 5G generally it's interconnected devices, sensors and systems. This provide services to consumer, governments and business peoples. Despite the evolution of cellular network, this spectrum scarcity and lack of intelligence and automation capability remain a major cause of our concern with this development. So this spectrum scarcity, intelligence and automation, these are the major concern to our revolution from 4G to 5G. In 5G, how these intelligence, automation and spectrum scarcity issues has been rectified. So these issues, spectrum scarcity, lack of intelligence and automation, resulted severe problems like low network capacity, high signaling overhead, inefficient data forwarding and low scalability, which are expected to be a stumbling block to the development, deployment, support and scale for the next generation applications. Next generation applications means, suppose we are looking smart city, digital farming, healthcare 4.0, industry 4.0, right? So in all these applications, these three phenomena, spectrum scarcity, artificial lack of intelligence and automation, it creates problems. So in this fifth generation cellular networks, along with its silent operational characteristics, as we discussed, this massive machine type, enhanced mobile broadband, ultra reliable low latency communication. With this one, cognitive and cooperation capability, cognition and cooperation capability, network virtualization, and traffic offload. How this silent feature can address these limitations to cater the future scenarios which characterized by highly heterogeneous network, ultra dense, highly variable networks environments. So how this one has been overcome, rectified. So with this context, this 5G development has been taken place, and even in 2020 it has been deployed, even very worst scenario due to COVID-19, and it is in progress. Still now it is in progress, and now its research has been rolled out. Particularly research is focusing on this deployment, its policy and its standards. Even now, even 2018 onwards, people are exploring 6G, 5G beyond that 6G, and now several countries are working on this direction. So we'll discuss even brief also 6G. So actually this driver behind this our cellular network evolution, this evolution of generation of communication systems, that's high speed internet, video streaming, live surgeries. So various demand of our consumer or society. Due to that, this development, this revolution has taken place. So this exactly 5G connected virtually everyone and everything together. This means your physical world to digital world. 5G, it's play a very important role in your physical and digital world, right? So this leading the world to 5G, a unifying connectivity fabrics for the next decades and beyonds, is connecting new industries and devices, empowering new user experience, enabling new services, delivering new level of efficiency. Yeah, definitely this quality of service. In addition to this quality of service, currently we are looking user experience, quality of experience, quality of service, user experience, and the parameters are involved. So exactly this come over the driver for 5G. What are the drivers? Because we need high data rate. So up to 10 Gbps data rate even in this wireless, not wireline. Even wireline already this optical fiber it provides, but we are looking this data rate in wireless. So 10 to 1000 times 4G, 4.5G. Availability everywhere, it need to available, network need to available, internet need to available. So this data rate, availability, coverage area, it covers more areas. Energy consumption, how to minimize energy consumption, and then increase battery life, number of connected devices, because number of connected devices are increases, user increases, connected devices are increases. So how to connect them? And then data rate, bandwidth, and its latency. So all these availability, data rate, latency, coverage, network energy consumptions, battery life, number of devices. So all these are the driving factor for the revolution of 5G. What are the features? As we broadly classify these three features, right? So these three has been explored so in details. So client real-time actions. So in this one, your robust mobility, ultra high reliability, ultra low latency. In context to network, security is major concern. So even this security context is still now people are working, and even this blockchain technology now has been trying to explore it for security purpose. And these data centers, because this data centers, it generates a interest, motivate us for this AI and automation. So deep awareness, ultra high capacity, deep coverage, ultra low energy, ultra low cost. Even it is very important. And even still now, this whole globe, more than 4 billion people are unconnected. Still now, all those are living under privilege globally. So with this context, even this United Nations, it put his goal, United Nations Sustainability Development Goal, United Nations SDGs. There are 17 points. Even first one, hungers. How to minimize this, eliminate this hunger problem globally. Zero hungers. This way, this SDG, it has 17 what we say goals, and up to 2030. This one is the mission of United Nations. So with this context, how should minimize this cost? So our poor people can afford these communication devices, and when they can afford, they can learn, then we can train them. They know, we educate them. So this transparency, corruption, all will remove. So this communication systems will play very important role, particularly this your ICT, information and communication system. So this one is also a very important part of our 17 United Nations SDGs. So 5G technology. So exactly this 5G is not a one technology, it combination. So here you can say see this 3-1 diverse spectrum, diverse service and devices, and then diverse deployment. So these are the involved here. And even in details, this licensed and shared licensed spectrums unlicensed spectrum. So spectrum bands from 1 gigahertz, 1 to 6 gigahertz, and then 6 to 100 gigahertz. That is in 5G. Then this diverse deployment, so that's device to device communication, mesh relay network topologies from wide area enterprises, residential deployments. So all these concern with diverse deployments. And then diverse services and devices. So from multi Gbps gigabits per second to 10 Gbps, how enhance data rate. Efficient multiplexing of low latency and nominal traffic, high user mobility to no mobility at all. So these are the technologies. Even in next one, we try to define 5G. So this 5G, you know, this cognitive radio, this and massive MIMO and our millimeter wave spectrums, right? So this one, it's intersection of all these three. This one is our 5G. So in this 5G, cognitive radio, it's play very significant role. What exactly cognitive radio, how it works, and what is its role in 5G? We'll discuss it. And then massive MIMO, multiple input, multiple output, and even in this massive, lot of antennas, lot of input and output, right? So that's a massive MIMO. How it works? So this one, how it enhances signals, multipath fading, multiplexing, combining techniques. So this one. And then millimeter wave spectrum, because you know we need data rate. So according to Shannon channel capacity formula, C equal to B log 1 plus SNR, signal to noise ratio. So B, that's bandwidth. It is very important. So when we should operate at low frequency, then definitely bandwidth should be low. And then data rate should be less. So to achieve high data rate, we have to operate our devices at high frequency. So definitely we have to move in millimeter terahertz region. So 5G can operate in both lower bands, that is we define sub 6 gigahertz. Already this 5G which has been deployed, that is sub 6 gigahertz. And even millimeter wave, it is still now in progress. As well as millimeter wave, 24 to up to 100 gigahertz, that is in progress, which will bring extreme capacity, multi-Gbps throughput and low latency. 5G deliver faster, better mobile broadband services with new services such as mission critical communication like defense, healthcare, that connect the massive IoT. It is very important components IoT. And then we also brief something about this 5G with IoT, 5G IoT. So this one generally we try to define our 5G. So 5G, that is combination of cognitive radio, massive MIMO and spectrum, millimeter wave spectrums. So this frame 5G communication systems. Cognitive radio, its spectral efficient devices. Yeah, we'll come over that one. So we explore in detail. 5G enables new kind of network that is designed to connect virtually everyone and everything together, including machine, object, devices. 5G wireless technology is meant to deliver higher multi-Gbps peak data rate, ultra low latency, more reliability, massive network capacity, increased availability, and more uniform user experience to more users. So higher performance and improved efficiency empower new user experience and connect new industry. And even with this one, this industry 4.0 has been introduced, and even now people are talking industry 5.0, that is user experience customize. So this, how is 5G better than 4G? So 5G is unified platform that is more capable than 4G. 5G uses spectrum better than 4G. This 5G is faster than 4G, definitely. It should be, because operating at high frequency. 5G has more capacity than 4G, definitely, because we are focusing on millimeter wave. It has lower latency. So how and when will 5G affect global economy? What we look with context to business. 5G is driving global growth. Up to this $13.1 trillion of global economy output. This 22.8 million new jobs it creates. So 265 billion global 5G capex and R&D manual annually over the next 15 years. So it's demand. So even we have to develop manpower in this direction. We create this, we involve in our undergraduate as well as postgraduate programs, this 5G communication technology. Even train manpower, master program in this 5G communication systems. So through a landmark 5G economy study, we researcher found that 5G full economic effect will likely to be realized across the globe by 2030, supporting a wide range of industries and potentially enabling up to 13.1 trillion worth of goods and services. So the study also reveals that 5G value chain could alone support up to 22.8 million jobs, or more than one jobs for every person, even in China, globally. Where is 5G being used? It's very important. So enhanced mobile broadband, mission critical communications like defense, healthcare, massive IoT. So in this one, we can explore this our 5G frequency band and allocations. You know, this as we are talking about 5G. So 5G is consists of captive radio, massive MIMO, and millimeter wave spectrum. So this cognitive radio, why we are talking frequency spectrum is scarcity, because this whatever the RF microwave region available frequency, it has been allocated. When earlier it was allocated with static mode, means the what we say, this service provider, a particular band has been allocated to them, and even a particular time, particular space, particular angle, they are not using all frequencies. So actually this one is the wastage of natural resources. Every day our users demand increasing, and even that vendor service provider has been taken but not using spectrum. So that's a natural resource misuse, wastage. So for that one, FCC explore and did survey. Then FCC committee find that more than 85% spectrum has not been used at particular time, particular frequency, as well as space. So they explore a new concept, that is cognitive radio. So even this United States and India, this 9 kilohertz to 3 gigahertz band are almost allocated to certain wireless services. So this creates problem of spectrum scarcity for further services. To overcome the problem of spectrum scarcity, three techniques came into existence. That's multiple antennas. Yeah, even you can say MIMO. Cooperative communication, how to cooperate, and then there is very good intender, that is cognitive radio. So this cognitive radio has been explored, and this concept of primary user, those are licensed user, and another one, this secondary user, cognitive user, are unlicensed user. So this cognitive user, it utilizes unused spectrums which has not been used by the primary user with some term and conditions. So for this cognitive user, this cognitive cycle, it's play very important role. This cognitive radio and cognitive cycle, cognition cycle, are the key enabling technology for 5G. CR, that's cognitive radio, enables nodes explore and use unutilized licensed channel, licensed spectrums. This cognition cycle, cognitive cycles, has been embedded in CR nodes to learn new knowledge, environment, and adapt to network dynamics. So learning and adaptation, it has been introduced here. How it learns? So in this one, cognitive cycles, cognition cycle, learning and adaptation has been introduced. So CR and cognitive radio and cognition cycle have brought advantage to a cognition-inspired 5G cellular network, including addressing the spectrum scarcity problems, promoting interoperation among heterogeneous networks, providing intelligence and autonomous capability to support 5G core operation such as smart beam farming. So this one, cognitive cycles, it's very important. This is our radio environment. This radio environment, this cognitive radio, its first step of cognitive radio is sensing. From this radio environment, it should sense the primary user. In that radio environment, is primary user available? If it is available, then what about its spectrum? Is this cognitive primary user using complete spectrum, or even some part of the spectrum are unused? So that is spectrum sensing, first step of cognitive radio. If it sense, then if it sense and the spectrum is free, then this cognitive radio start communication over that spectrums, reconfigure and establish communication. So this sensing and after sensing spectrum decision, how will they? Because this it has been sensed, it is free, then free, how much band is free? So that is required by this spectrum is required by many cognitive users. So which one is suited? So this spectrum decision, spectrum analysis and decision has been made. Spectrum sensing, then spectrum analysis and decision. Then it should allocate to particular cognitive user, and they must use. Now here, if at that moment, if primary user is required, it come back and want to use their license spectrum, then at that moment, cognitive user or secondary user have to leave. Then it need to move, find out another spectrums. That's mobility. And even in this context, very interesting things, this access technology has been explored. If his spectrum is free, then cognitive user start communication. So when his spectrum is free and then this start communication, start accessing, then it establish communication with full power. That is known as interview access techniques. Okay, so that is accessing technique. First one is interview. Spectrum is free, and license spectrum is free, not used by primary user. Then this cognitive user sense it and then establish communication with full power. Because this, when it establishes communication with full power, then sufficient channel capacity, data rate will get it. Right? When next moment, this primary user come back, then here some condition has been established. If this secondary user start communication with constrained power and primary user constrained power under primary user's tolerable limit, then that access technique is known as underlay spectrum access technique. So interview spectrum access technique, underlay spectrum access techniques. So in that case, underlay access techniques, definitely this cognitive user reduce his transmission power, so data rate will be limited, throughput will be limited. That is major concern. So in that case, what happens? Another technique has been introduced, that is overlay. In this overlay, both cognitive radio and your primary user both will transmit full power, but they use interference cancellation techniques. We'll discuss in later some techniques regarding this, some devices regarding this, even this in 6G, this type of devices has been going to explore. So this overlay and this interview and underlay, when we'll combine, this means when spectrum is free from primary user, then full power, and when primary user come back, then constrained power. So this one has been defined a hybrid spectrum access technique. So spectrum access techniques, there are 4: interview, underlay, hybrid, and overlay. So with this one, this spectrum, even spectrum mobility and spectrum management, so these are the part of your cognition cycle. And on this basis, your cognitive user learn and take decision. So intelligence and automation is important part of this one. So now here I am actually this concern is AI, artificial intelligence, this machine learning and deep learning, how we should explore. In this one, even this is very broad, and in 1.5 hours, it's difficult to finish. Even 150 hours, it's difficult to complete. So, but it's okay. Just I am briefing some research challenges here. This high traffic environment, a lot of devices will come over this data regarding this high traffic. Number of devices will come. So this in high traffic environment, maximum number of the channels remain active. This means it is allocated. Communication, transmission already established. So it is fruitful. Let's to sense the random selected channel. It is, spectrum sensing. Cognitive radio, first step is spectrum sensing. So, this spectrum has been allocated and maybe using, we don't know. This cognitive radio don't know. So when it start to sense this broadband, it's difficult. How it should find out where is, and it consume lot of times, lot of energy, power consumptions, right? So therefore, to select the channel on the basis of their probability, prediction. Actually, this prediction on the prior history, prior information, prior data available, on the basis of that one, we make some prediction, their probability, and then according to that probability tells that no, this part is almost free, maybe free, right? Then cognitive radio start sensing in that region, right? So here with this data, With this data, we should have prior history of the primary user. According to that, this data we should analyze, train, and validate, develop, test it, train, test, and validate. Then this our AI concept should establish according to this data. And particular moment, which part of the spectrum is free. Then start sensing that one. When we know this one, then of course this power consumptions and time will say. Sense it. So probability with which prediction is idle, this means unused, so that additional power and time is spent to the sensing can be saved. Modified frame structure for this has been shown below. Therefore, in order to exploit this benefit of hybrid spectrum access, right? I'm talking hybrid spectrum access. This means interweave and underlay. Suppose we have taken a slot of 100 millisecond, right? And in this one, this prediction, whatever the time we have taken to predict, okay, this part of the spectrum is idle, is free, unused. So in this prediction time, tau p, and then after predicting, we start sensing. We sense it. When it is, as our prediction, it is idle, unused, then we start communication. Remaining time should start communication. So this slot is data transmission. When our sensing time is less, then definitely our data transmission time will be more. We transmit more data, right? So this prediction will reduce. Otherwise, we sense complete band. It consumes more time as well as power. So this prediction on prediction on the prior history of your primary user. So then we should get sufficient time to transmit data. Then this our data. We can transmit more data. So this one thing is prediction. Here we can introduce AI, machine learning, deep learning, whatever our available data is for spectrum, right? Second one is spectrum monitoring. Now here very important points we need to clarify: spectrum sensing and spectrum monitoring. Even both are same. But when we will talk about in-band and out-band, spectrum monitoring, this means we are monitoring our primary user when it come back. And spectrum sensing, we sense the spectrum. Where is a primary user and which part of the primary user's spectrum is free. So this is spectrum monitoring in the transmission time, and spectrum sensing before transmission to establish. Spectrum monitoring, we monitor the primary user. Suppose primary user come back on their own spectrum, license spectrum, and even in that one, your secondary user, cognitive user, already transmitting. So this data collision will take place. So both will lose their data. So how to avoid this one? This interference, data collisions. So in that context, we monitor primary user. So spectrum monitoring. The emergence of primary user during data transmission is possible. And if it happens, the entire data after the emergence of primary user loses as well as introduces prominent interference at primary user. Therefore, the spectrum monitoring is used to detect the emergence of primary user during data transmission. This approach here, this spectrum prediction, we predict it, then we sense it, and then after that we start transmission. In this transmission region, spectrum monitoring. This spectrum monitoring, now here, two cases we consider: perfect spectrum monitoring and imperfect spectrum monitoring. So actually this imperfect, it's a practical case. Imperfection, definitely it comes maybe some system problem, some environment problem, some another one. So we try to focus imperfect nature. Perfect spectrum monitoring, it's a conceptual, hypothetical, ideal case, right? So in this context, a flow diagram algorithm has been developed. This cognitive user predict the state of channels that active or idle. This means free or active. Sense the idle predicted channel. When it is predicted idle, unused, then sense it. Start data transmission on the idle sense channel and parallelly perform spectrum monitoring, because we monitor this primary user is coming or not. So in the spectrum monitoring, it is perfect. Then directly this particular data packet in the emergence of primary user will lost. If no, then have considered the effect of traffic intensity. How is traffic intensity of the primary user? If it is okay, then we'll go data loss become the function of spectrum monitoring error and traffic intensity, right? If it is not, then data loss depend on the spectrum monitoring error. So finally, this algo has been developed, and in this context, interference efficiency, this parameter has been find out. So ratio of the achieved throughput to the cognitive user to the interference power introduced at the primary user. Energy efficiency, bits per joule per hertz, ratio of the achieved throughput of the cognitive user to the power consumed by the cognitive system, cognitive user systems, data loss, bits per second per hertz, number of packet lost, and SNR at primary user, signal to noise ratio at PU receiver due to CU and PU transmission. So this primary user transmitter, primary user receiver, this channel, and then cognitive user transmitter, cognitive user receiver. So this one will interfere here and this one will interfere here. So this interference phenomena will take place. So data loss will arise. So here perfect monitoring and imperfect monitoring. In perfect monitoring, this one is spectrum monitoring error, and there is some error in this monitoring of the spectrum, that is I'm talking imperfect. Then this average packet lost, it almost constant and perfect, but it is not a practical case. And in case of imperfect, this packet loss increases with the monitoring error, right? So here this interference efficiency has been computed with spectrum monitoring errors and different traffic intensity 0.5, 0.7. These are the traffic intensity, highly traffic. Then 0.9, this means highly traffic. Here this interference efficiency, channel gain, how it channel between the primary user and cognitive user, primary user transmitter and primary user receiver, primary user secondary user transmitter and primary user receiver. So it's how this channel gain, according to that, this interference efficiency has been computed for perfect monitoring and imperfect monitoring. Energy efficiency has been computed for these both cases. So the energy efficiency reduces with the increase in the spectrum monitoring error for imperfect case, however remain constant for perfect case. Energy efficiency is more for small values of traffic intensity, reduces with increase in the traffic intensity, right? So imperfection in the spectrum monitoring system reduces the performance of the cognitive radio communication system. The prominent way to manage the imperfection is cooperation among the cognitive radio. So that is a very interesting research problems. And even this AI machine learning, this data, the data which we have. So how is predicted spectrum data quality? So its validity, reliability, objectivity, generalizability, utility, completeness, relevance, integrity. All these are parameters with that context of our spectrum data. It is very important. Even still now we don't have. There is rare countries they have their spectrum data. And then when we have this data, then according to that, we should develop an algorithms, analyze data analytics, right? And then apply our approach, make them smart. So AI machine learning challenges. So these are issues. So challenges and implication for the technology and research, it's very important. Empirical study, and then quantitative models, empirical study, then with the data, quantitative models, and then prediction analysis, experimental study with that one here. And then when we get this experimental study, then it's validation and verification. And this empirical data here also, this observation, quantitative modeling. So this empirical study, both with data and observation, we model quantitatively. Empirical study, you see it, this empirical study, this way observation, so quantitative modeling. This with this data, with this data, quantitative models we develop. And then these quantitative models, with this data, we predict, prediction analysis, as we discuss in this our spectrum. So this prediction analysis, and then from this one, our observation, principles, explanations, and then experimental study. We validate this our information, we verify it, then our model will be complete. So 5G beyond 6G, some very interesting, because I will just brief some issues. 5G, beyond 5G and 6G. So driver for this future traffic increases. So growth of machine-to-machine applications, enhanced screen resolution, cloud computing, growth in audio, video, audio, visual, and media streaming, proliferation of ambient screen, deployment of time scale, shifting demography, urbanization, smart city. So evolution in uses, traffic characteristics, traffic asymmetry, subscriber behavior, FBB replacement, all these accelerate to develop a new generation. These are drivers. This 2020 and beyonds, right? So I will show this data up to 2030. This is IQ data survey up to 2030. In 2020, 62 exabyte traffic per month. However, its prediction up to 2030, it moves up to 5,016 exabyte per month traffic. So huge traffic. Next 10 years, huge traffic will be there. So this one is the major concern, how it should be rectified, right? This estimation of global mobile traffic per subscription per month. So this one is also huge, per subscription per month. Then in 2020, it is 5.3 gigabyte. However, in 2030, it should be 257.1 gigabyte. So it's a big challenge. So how this issue should be rectified? This global trend of wireless connectivity, then issue 2030, 22, 2020, and this up to 2030, this mobile subscription in 2030, that's 17.1 billions, smartphone subscription 5 billions, machine to machine subscription 97 billions, traffic volume it increases as we discussed in previous slides, machines to machine traffic volume 622 exabyte per month, traffic per subscriber as we discussed in previous one. So all the challenges, and it creates problem. So here we also compare 4G, 5G and 6G communication systems. These issues 4G, 5G and 6G per device peak data rate. In 4G it was 1 Gbps, in 5G 10 Gbps, and in 6G we are looking 1 Gbps. So definitely for this 6G, it's 2030 mission, and up to 2035 it should deploy. So now many more organizations are working on this 6G. So end-to-end latency 100 millisecond in 4G, 10 millisecond in 5G, and 1 millisecond in 6G. Maximum spectral efficiency 15 bits per second per hertz, 30 bits per second per hertz, and in 6G we are looking 100 bits per second per hertz. Mobility supports So this 4G supports 350 kilometer per hours, and then 5G this 500 kilometer per hours, and in 6G that is 1000 kilometer per hours. Even aircraft systems, how it should deploy. Satellite integration, then with 4G, 5G there is no, and 6G with fully satellite integrated. Artificial intelligence in 4G, nothing. 5G, it's partially. As we discussed, this for spectrum, power allocation, channel modeling, this AI has been introduced. For spectrum, for channel modeling, for resource allocation, this artificial intelligence has been introduced, but in this 6G, it will be fully. This XR, next generation reality. You know, AI, this augmented reality and virtual reality, and this XR, next generation reality. So in this one, 4G, nothing. 5G, it's partially, and 6G, fully. Haptic communication, it's very important. This haptic communication in this 4G, no. 5G, partially, and 6G, it should be fully. You know, haptic communication, you know, human sense. There are 5 human sense. This or sound, vision, nose, that is smell, touch. So in all these 5 sense, when should establish communication, that is haptic communication. In 6G, this communication phenomena should be established in all these 5 sense. Your touch, communication should be established. Your taste, tongues, your taste, this communication should establish. Your nose, smell, this communication should establish. Vision, audio, it's okay. Already audio, video, 1G, 2G, and even 3G, 4G already established. But still now this taste, smell, touch is not. So in 6G, all these sense, communication should establish. So in this one, spectrum, terahertz range of frequency will be utilized. In this 5G, it's partially. This means we are talking millimeter wave, not terahertz. In 6G, it should be. Even when this partially, in the sense, somewhere it has been explored up to 275 gigahertz, right? So generally we define terahertz up to 100 gigahertz to 10 terahertz. That is terahertz spectrum. So service level, this video, 5G, VR, AR, and then 6G, it should be tactile. Architecture, this 4G, it's a MIMO, 5G, that's massive MIMO, and 6G, it should be intelligent reflecting surface, IRS. Maximum efficiency, maximum frequency, this 4G up to 6 gigahertz, and 5G we will go up to 90 gigahertz, and 6G up to 10 terahertz. So this comparison 4G, 5G, and 6G has been discussed here. So even this number of devices, connected devices in billions, right? Number of connected devices per persons. So it has been provided here, this data. Yeah, this is also available here. So this number of connected devices also increasing drastically. So how this issue should rectify, and latency and this even when we try to work to develop these communication devices for a specific purpose, so we try to fix our application. Are we using for smart city? Are we using for healthcare, automation, industrial automation, manufacturing industry? So according to that, we should fix their KPI, key performance indicator. So this latency and here reliability. So suppose healthcare, electronic healthcare. So for this one, this latency, it should be high. And this also reliability, it is highly reliable, right? So on this basis, we should decide before developing our devices, fixing its KPI, we must decide applications. So this one is the basic concept how we should move. So this increase channel capacity, heterogeneous network with cell technology, number of sub-channels, massive MIMO, spatial modulation, cooperative, dynamic access, interference. It is very challenging, this interference management. How this interference will manage. Bandwidth for CR network, millimeter wave communication, even visible light. So this a framework for 5G IoT. So how to link our communication devices, 4G IoT, 5G IoT, and even 6G IoT for network. Even this suppose this 5G IoT for smart city, 5G IoT for healthcare, 5G IoT for digital farming. So specific applications, how we should connect. So this our sensing layer, network layer, communication layer, then architecture. That should be our cloud. Then these application layers. So this has been discussed here, and then application point of view, this 5G, beyond 5G IoT for industrial applications. So 5G IoT industry application, then smart factory, smart transport system, Internet of Vehicles, you can so say, e-health. Even now we are when we will talk about e-health, electronic health. Even now in this industrial revolution, we are talking healthcare 4.0. Healthcare 4.0, that is combination of smart health with connected environment. A smart home, smart cities, all these. Even though this NOMA, in starting up to 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, right? Even 5G is combination of many modes. So up to 4G, this one, up to OFDMA, all these are OMA technique, orthogonal multiple access. And in this one, there are many more issues. Even when we will talk about spectrum sharing, cooperation, then this OMA, it is difficult. Then people switch for this NOMA, non-orthogonal multiple access techniques, NOMA, and break the orthogonality and talk about this one. So in this one, this you can say overlay means both transmitter and receiver, all user will communicate with full power, but they have this interference cancellation techniques. So here some discussions over that one. Why this NOMA is required. That is multiple access technique to serve multiple user with limited bandwidth. Very interesting. In this way, you know, OFDMA. In OFDMA, single user, we provide multiple carrier to single user. That is OFDM. But in this NOMA, it is different. Multiple users use single carriers. In OFDMA, single user, multi carriers, and in NOMA, multi user, single carrier. The reverse. So this and even in 6G, NOMA, CR, and MIMO will combine all these three, because these three techniques, CR is spectral efficient, MIMO, massive MIMO is spectral efficient, and NOMA, it's also is spectral efficient. We combine these three, then a wonderful systems, that is for 6G. So NOMA, it has been okay, due to time constraints, we move this one. So we have been using OMA, TDMA, FDMA, CDMA, and then OFDMA. But in this one, my disadvantage is that if user has poor channel condition, the bandwidth allocated to this user via OMA cannot be used as high rate, cannot be shared. Spectral efficiency should be low, since this user cannot utilize the allocated bandwidth efficiently. Since OMA is used, the bandwidth resource occupied by this user cannot be shared by the other. No sharing. So that's a difficulty. Due to that, this NOMA has been explored. So several types of NOMA has been discussed. So in this one, power division, multiple access, PDMA. In this one, multiple users with same carrier but different power. User near to the base station, less power. User away from the base station, more power. Less power, more power. Right? As per the channel condition, how it channel. So for this one, important is superposition coding at transmitter and successive interference cancellation at receiver. This is the important approach to cancel the interference. So yeah, in these slides, all these are available and some challenges you should get. So some results also has been presented here. And even in all these things are available in one of my recently published book is spectrum sharing in cognitive radio in highly connected environment. So all these works are there. In this one, suppose this is MIMO NOMA, CR NOMA, CR OMA, CR NOMA, CR MIMO, CR NOMA MIMO. So already in this case, you know, this one, so we have achieved more than 358% what we say throughput as compared to this CR OMA. So challenges and issues: cost and transparency, consumer experience, data analytics, interoperability, privacy and security. Security is major concern. So this need to discuss in details actually this data, availability of the spectrum data, resource allocation data, channel modeling data is not. So that is major concern. We have to collect data for this our channel modeling, because this in wireless channel is very important parameter. Every moment it changes, right? So this data is very important. Resource allocation means spectrum as well as power, how should allocate, and then channel changing, then according to that how transmitter will allocate power to establish communication. So all these are concerned here. The large amount of future work to be investigated, open research challenges. So this machine learning, deep learning, and data analytics need to involve, and how to integrate with IoT, Internet of Everything's. So, okay, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot
Hello.
for the wonderful session, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for your wonderful session, sir. Really, it is more informative for all the participants as well as those who are doing research in their in the area of 5G wireless communication. It is more helpful as you have shown many number of slides with the outputs, efficiency, as with respect to the 5G wireless communication. So this NOMA was more informative for us also. Some of the students are working with NOMA in our side. So this NOMA is more helpful for us, and probably we try to implement in a physical modules. Thanks a lot for your wonderful presentation over here. Participants?
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to interact. Even right now, if you cannot, then you may share your questions, your queries, any suggestions.
Yes. So I request the participants to ask queries to sir. If you have any queries or doubts, you can clarify. Participants, you can unmute yourself and you can get clarified with your doubts.
Okay, thank you. It's okay. It's my pleasure. But if you have anyone, then you may write email. Don't hesitate. You all are most welcome anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Participants, dear participants, in the chat box we have shared the feedback form for feedback as well as for attendance. Please fill the feedback form.